turning MIDI tracks into audio. So at this point, we have a couple tracks in our session that are MIDI tracks. Now, if we look at the mix window, we'll notice that these tracks are MIDI information, and they're using some of the plugins in Pro Tools here. So Expand is what we're using for our bass, and the DB33 is what we're using for the organ. So we can solo those and listen to it. And we're at the very end of the song. Okay, and there's our organ. So we could just leave it like this, sitting here, playing those tracks back from taking that MIDI information. As you can see here, they're not waveforms. Taking that MIDI information and converting it into audio. But the issue here, there's a couple things. First of all, these plugins, they require a decent amount of power to take this MIDI information and convert it into audio information. So that's power that we could be using otherwise for audio processing plugins. Okay, and that's really not that necessary. And the second thing is yeah, we have Expand and the DB33 here in Pro Tools, but what if we want to prepare our mix to go mix somewhere else? Maybe we want to even put it onto some kind of analog system or digital hard disk recording system that's different than Pro Tools, and so we're not going to be able to have MIDI tracks that are triggering information and such. And so what we want to do is we want to convert these tracks into audio. And so the process for that is we're going to, in Pro Tools here, what we're going to do is we're going to create extra audio tracks, and we're going to basically bus or send the information from the output of these MIDI tracks to those audio tracks. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Track, New, and we want to create a mono audio track for the bass. Even though it's stereo here, we're going to change it to mono. And we're going to add a second track that's going to be stereo, and that's going to be for our organ. Okay, so there's our two tracks, and we're going to line it up. So here's our bass, and here's our bass audio track. Here's our organ and our organ MIDI and our organ audio. So we'll rename those. Always good to rename before recording so that the audio file has a corresponding name. And so there we can see there's our bass audio track, organ. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the output of the bass track here, and we're just going to pick any bus. I'm going to pick bus 3. And so now you can see if we solo this and play it, we're not going to hear anything because it's going out bus 3, not analog 1 and 2, which is what's going to be going to our headphones or speakers or such. And the input of our bass audio track is going to be bus 3. So basically we're sending the output of what Expand is taking that MIDI and changing it into audio. We're taking the output of that and we're sending it right into an audio track. So if we solo this and record enable this track and hit play. Okay, so we are going from stereo to mono, so there's going to be some level adjustment because both those tracks are adding to each other. So if we wanted to, we could come in here and maybe turn some stuff down in the plugin, adjust our levels here so that we're not going red, and everything's looking good. We're all ready to go. Okay, so the bass is ready. Now we take our organ, same thing. We're going to go bus 1 and 2, and once again we can't hear it at all because it's just going to this bus within the digital realm. It's not going any speakers, but we're going to take it and send it to our organ audio track. So the input of this track is bus 1 and 2. The output of the organ MIDI track is bus 1 and 2. Record enable that track, solo it, and there we go. We got the same thing happening. So now if we take and solo these tracks, or we could actually listen to the whole mix at the same time, we'll go over here into our edit window, and what we can do is we can just simply select the area that we want to record, and now we'll hit record. So I'm just going to hit the key command, Command Spacebar. And as you can see, here we are recording. The waveforms are being created there. Nice healthy looking waveforms. Now we're going to create audio files here that are going to be able to be transferred to any other system, and they're going to be treated just the same way as a snare drum track. And what we would do is let that go all the way out, and that is how we turn MIDI tracks into audio.